Group one, please. What is your decision, guys? Is it a yes or no first? Is it a yes or no? Is it an enforceable? Was it an enforceable contract, or it was not an enforceable contract? Okay, let me see. Group one think it is enforceable. Okay, thanks, Nhi. Can you please explain a little bit why to support your answer? Why do you think that it is enforceable? All right, why group one is arranging your answer, right? So 2 and 3, what do you guys think? How about group 2 and 3? Can anyone give some support or explanation to the answer that you gave out? Either you give group 2 and 3, or people, another member from group 1, give the reason why you think that it is enforceable. Okay, this contract is enforceable. Queen, which group are you belong to?
I belong to group 2.
Okay, you group 2. All right. So why you think so? The answer is yes. So why do you guys think that this contract is enforceable? Why do you think that this contract is enforceable? Just imagine that this is your midterm. How would you do it? How would you support? I think because A had already signed a contract and received 20 million. Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
I think I think it's a little bit ambiguous because it like the story doesn't mention that I signed a written contract or just an oral contract between A and HTV.
No, it was a written contract. Maybe you were late. I already put the provision in the chat box already.
Okay, so so because it's a written contract and it has a like agreement between A and HTV. So it is an execution of an agreement between A and HTV. So is it a valid contract?
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. Thank you. Anyone else, please? I just copy and paste the provision, one of the provisions in the contract, again in the chat box. So just in case you couldn't see that. Anything else? Any other, what other comments? Can A actually sue all of the people? The contract between okay, A and HTB was enforceable. Okay. Okay. All right. Can you please specify? Yeah, very good. But what can you please specify why? What in the provision that cannot ask that make A cannot sue HTV and other people? Because the story is based on A, right? The law student. So Eric's envy has a law student in that, and it's based on the movie Law School Students that A was the inspiration. So therefore, right, he also has a right as a co-author of Eric's envy. Also has a right, right? Because even though there was a contract with HTV, but they say that it was just for the movie, right? But this one is inspired and get it from the movie, right? And the story of the movie is based on A, so that's why he has the right to co-author Eric's envy. Yes, you point out that due to the aforementioned provision, but what is in that? Which words, which phrases in that provision make make it impossible for A to sue HTV or T Production or Eric?
The phrase that indicate that is releases and discharges HTV of and from each and every claim which have risen or are based in whole or in part of any matter occurring at any time before the day of this contract.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Nga. Anyone else? Any other people? Do you have any comments on Nga's response or okay, so Nia answer is very good, right? So first of all, she pointed out that the contract is enforceable, is valid because of the four elements. And maybe if you do an exam, you need to specify a little bit more, right? If it is not clear, then we can say assuming, right? Assuming that the contractual A has the contractual capacity and the people who sign the contract on behalf of HTV, because HTV is not a person, right? It's an entity, right? So the person who signed a contract has the contractual capacity to sign the contract with A, right? So we need to clarify a little bit. So it shows the examiner that you understand the concept very, very well, okay? Not just looking at the slide and you copy and paste the information, but you know which element means what, right? Agreements say that, okay, there's a side contract between A and HTV, and maybe and there's another thing that we should point it out is that there was no evidence showing that A was under duress, fraud, or misrepresentation, something like that, right? It means that A entered into this contract voluntarily. Right, we need to say that because there was no information in the case showing that HTV made any pressure on A. Okay, so agreement consideration is that the 20 million A already received contractual capacity, right? Assuming that as A is a law school student, right? So he's old enough and he must be, has competent mentality. And the next one was legality. This is a movie based on, of course, this is for the legal purpose, right? It's not something bad. So therefore, right, this contract is valid and enforceable, right? Regarding the claim, regarding a claim, right? We can say that, right, because of the provision side between A and HTV, right? So exactly like I put that from, let me see, release and discharge HTV of and from each and every claim, right, which have risen or are based in whole or in part. Okay, so that's why since A already signed that general release of that contract, so therefore A cannot sue HTV, T Production, or Eric for the rights as a co-author and co-owner, okay, of the MV or the copyright to the MV. Right. Thank you. Right, so if you can answer like that, you will get, I think, 100% of the grade. But otherwise, if you can put it out that, like, let's take Nga as a response as an example. So if you answer like that, you will get 60%. Okay, because the core one you got, but for the supporting idea and information, you did not have that, right? So you add more, and then to show that you actually understand the elements, and you how can I say, elaborate on the specific provisions, which part of the provisions, which term, which clause, which phrases. Okay, thanks, Nga, and thanks, Queen. Okay, next one. So
Miss, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
So in the case, we have two parties, right? The first one is A and the other party is HTV, T Production, and Eric. Is that correct?
No. So we have four parties, right? So the first one is A. So the A signed a contract with HTV only.
I understand.
Okay. Yep. And then later on, right, HTV released the movie. The HTV got 2 billion to HTV pocket, right? This is HTV pocket, all right? And then, right, T Production really liked that idea, right? And Eric liked that idea too. Eric is the singer of T Production. Right, T Production is the company that Eric is one of the singers. So T Production really Eric liked that idea. T Production liked that idea. So they want to make an MV based on the story of the law school student, right? Có tất cả những thứ anh, right? So and then they talk to HTV. Right, they say that, okay, I want to build I want to make an MV inspired from that story. Right, just part of it. They don't take the whole movie, right? They take only part of it to make a story, which is a law student who was very, very poor. And then later on, he became very rich, but he was betrayed by his girlfriends, blah, 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 right? Something like that. Just part of the story of the movie, right? So later on, they found out that, and A sued HTV and T Production and Eric for different claims, right? I already put it out, right? For the code, what was that? Again. Second. So the first one is that A want to have rights as the co-author to Eric's MV, right? And he want to have a co-owner which HTV copyright, because HTV did not make the movie, right? He just had the copyright. I did not make the MV. He has the copyright of the movie, and the MV was based on that movie. So that's why A say that A wanna be a co-owner with HTV copyright to Eric's MV. Right. So there are different transactions and different parties.
I understand. So I just want to ask that A had a contract with HTV, but did A had a contract with T Production and Eric?
No, he did. Yeah, okay. Go ahead. I get you, but go ahead. Yep.
Yes. So is it possible for A to sue T Production and Eric while he doesn't have a contract between?
No, because as I mentioned, right, the movie what is that? Because T Production and Eric work with HTV already. They pay HTV in order to get the information out of that movie, and A already signed a release. That is a contract, but they usually call it as a general release, and that release and discharge everything. So everything related to this movie, right? Everything related to this movie inspired by A, owned by HTV, right? Or whether it is inspired whole of it or part of it, right? At any time. So that all of this is actually belong to HTV already. So I say that, okay, no, I'm done with that. So everything get out of this is belong to you, and you are responsible for that. So I cannot sue T Production. If T Production Eric did not work through HTV, then that is a different story. But because T Production and Eric work with HTV, right, and they pay HTV for all of the information, the storyline, so I cannot sue. But if, very good question. So if HTV have a movie, right, and HTV doesn't have any connection with T Production and Eric, and I figure out that T Production and Eric make a movie based on that, then that is another story. But because they already work through HTV and pay HTV the money for that, so I cannot sue it.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Good point. So, right, so now let's move on to the next one. We completed communication. So now let's move on. All right, special offer situation. Right, one sec. Let me turn off the camera. Because it say that internet is not stable. Okay, since you might read it somewhere, so maybe from a textbook, or you can Google online, everywhere is fine. So now let's have a look at the special offer situation. Okay, so those that we are discussing today is advertisement, rewards, and auctions. Okay, or there are, in certain cases, you want to see, they say that situations where intent may be lacking. This is the same, okay, similar. So first, let's look at advertisement. Right, this is something that we all be familiar with. We are all familiar with, okay? So generally, advertisement, okay, are not treated as offer to a contract, but only as an invitation to negotiate. Okay, so this one you can look at the restatement second of contract, section 26, comment B. Okay, so you cannot buy someone, right? Someone is not everyone is biting on their advertisement, right? For example, let's look at this example. Here. Okay, so Ho Chi Minh City University of Law has a journal, right? You know, a journal, Legal Sciences, okay? And on the website of the journal, they ask, right? They call for paper, right? To submit, like, you know, some new temporary issues on contracts law, okay, on contract law, right? And then the editors, the board of editors, right, or the editors are the editor is going to look at, right, and then decide whether it is possible, right, for all of these papers, for the papers, the submitted paper, to be included in the journal, right, to be included in the journal. A, okay, is a professor of law, X University, right? And A submitted a manuscript. He said that he actually found out the similarity between Vietnamese law and common law uh, in terms of consideration. So he submitted a manuscript. Manuscript is like a draft, okay? A manuscript to the journal, okay? And however, the journal, after have a peer review, did not publish this manuscript, right? So A actually filed a lawsuit for breach of the contract, right? He claimed that the journal has an offer, right? This is an offer, right? And by submitting a manuscript, A actually, what's wrong with this part? Ooh. All right, so something's wrong here, so I cannot find. Okay, so A submit a lawsuit versus a journal, right? Right, a journal, right? A say that the journal has this one is an offer, and by sending the manuscript, he accepted the offer, right? So if you were the judge of this case, what would your decision be? Is it clear, everyone? So this is an example. So if you were the judge, what is your decision? How would you decide this case if you were the judge to this case? So Professor A sued the journal. He filed a lawsuit for breach of contract, and he said that the journal, the advertisement here is actually was an offer, and he had accepted the offer by submitting his manuscript in number 2, right? So if you were the judge, how would you decide? What do you think of this example? So this is an example of advertisement, right? What do you think? If you were a judge to this case, how would you decide?
Miss, may I share my opinion?
Yes, sure. Go ahead, Lynn.
Okay, so in my opinion, the advertisement made by the journal is just an invitation to make an offer. It's not an offer already, so there is no contract here. So I cannot file a lawsuit for breach of contract.
Okay, thanks,
Yeah.
Lynn. Thanks, Helen. All right, anyone else, please?